Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I was considering coloring this mop again, but then I remembered I have like white pillowcases and the color tends to bleed a little bit at first and I don't really feel like dealing with it. So the thing that's really bugging me about my hair right now is how long it is. So I'm growing it out and it does not really go together. Like the top is super long and this is like super short and it just looks weird to me. So the fact that this is so long is kind of hard to figure out what to do. So I think I'm just gonna cut it short, honestly. And I don't really know how to do hair or anything. I just make it up as I go. So like I never went to school. So this should be fun. I don't know. I feel like it's, as long as I don't really care about what my hair looks like or what other people think about my hair, it shouldn't really matter. So I'm just gonna start. I got some hair cutting scissors. And this is usually what I do when I want to cut my hair. I just go for it, because why not? Get my little trash can here. I feel like I'm gonna make a mess, but that's okay. And so I'm taking the parts that I just cut and sort of putting them up against the parts that I haven't cut to make sure everything is the same length. And I'm just gonna go through all of my hair and do the same thing. Okay guys, so I was just gonna give my hair a little trim, and before I knew it, I was cutting it super short. So this is how it came out. I just went and got it wet a little bit, played with it a little, put some gel in it, and honestly, I like it. The test will be what my husband thinks, and you might be asking yourself, why did you chop all your hair off before talking to your husband? Well, my husband loves short hair and has wanted me to have like a pixie cut anyways. And in addition to that, he's always told me, you know, whatever makes me happy is fine with him. So even if I wanted to shave my entire head, he wouldn't mind. So I'm not too worried that he'll be upset or anything, but I just want to see if he'll like it. So when he gets home, I'll have to see if I can get his reaction on camera. But in the meantime, a look of the day. So I feel like I want to do something a little fancy today, and I'm not really sure what, but we shall see. Gotta dig my little cover out of the lid of this I Do Care Gold Radiance Booster. Clean the lid out. I got some gunk in it. All right, so I'm going to start first with my Pure Lace Matcha Green Tea Antioxidant Moisturizer. And I don't know if it's because I'm eating better, drinking less sugar, or cutting my hair made me really thirsty. Or if it's because of the products that I'm using. Perhaps it's just a combination of all three. But my skin feels a lot better, and I get a lot less breakouts than I have in the past. And I'm using a lot more makeup than I have in the past. So, I mean, I still get some breakouts, especially down here because I do this a lot. You know, rest my head on my hand. But I don't have nearly as many as I used to, so that's kind of cool. If you're wondering what products I'm using, because perhaps you're new to my channel, I am using my Pure Lace Matcha Green Tea Moisturizer, and then I went in with 111 Skin Rose Gold Radiance Booster. This is my I Do Care Straight Radiate Radiance Moisturizing Gold Gel Cream. This is I Feel Bright Squalane Facial Oil. Now, I haven't been using this as much because I just want to give a quick update sort of review on this product. The packaging is just terrible because this stuff leaks everywhere. So keep that in mind if you purchase or use that product. And perhaps what I have is actually a sample product. It's not meant to be because it was in the Ipsy Glam Bag Plus, so that should be a full-size item, but maybe it is. But it's kind of like this flimsy, plasticky, and the oil leaks down the bottom. I used to take it with me because I take all my makeup with me for the day after I do my face in the morning. And I stopped taking that with me because it was leaking everywhere. So just keep that in mind. I mean, you don't need a lot of products, so maybe that is a full size. I don't know. Anywho, now I'm going to go in with my Rimmel London Stay Matte Concealer. This is in the shade Porcelain. And I started using my concealer and setting powder combination when I started getting into makeup, and I was just doing some research and watching people do their makeup, and I was like, huh, a lot of people seem to do this. Maybe I should try it out. And it seems to work really well as far as keeping my eyeshadow in the same spot. I have hooded eyes, and underneath my makeup always tends to just like bleed down my face. So since I've been doing this, I haven't had that problem nearly as often. I do occasionally. I guess it just depends on if it's really hot outside. I mean, I live in Florida, so I don't know. But it doesn't do it nearly as often as it used to, so that's good. Now I'm going to use this beauty sponge that I got from a Walmart bag of makeup sponges, and it was like 18 sponges for $3. And it does a pretty good job. I mean, I've said before, I've never actually used the name brand beauty blender, so I don't know how it compares or if it even does. But this does a fairly decent job in my opinion for what I feel like I need it for. So there's that. And I just go along and dab and blend. So it's amazing how well these sponges blend in concealer or product into your skin just by dabbing it. Sort of like disperses it. And what's nice about sponges versus brushes is that one, oh my gosh, it blends so easy, but also it leaves a really nice skin texture. Whereas in the past, when I've tried to use brushes to do this, it leaves like streak marks, like brush marks. Now I'm going to use my CRZY London translucent finishing powder with my sponge, and I just go in and I do the exact same thing. I just dab it on. And I try not to blend this in. I sort of just want to put a nice layer on top of the concealer that I just put down. Just sort of dab it on there, make sure I get everything covered. And this sets my concealer so that I don't get creasing and it doesn't, I don't know, doesn't come off. Mostly I just find that it helps so that I don't get creasing. I'm not sure what other benefits it has, but I like the way that it turns out. Now I realize that I look crazy right now because my eyes are like whited out. You just let it set for like 3 to 5 minutes while you do the rest of your face, and then you brush it off. Now I'm brushing around. I don't want to go over my eyes just yet, but I do want to clear up around the face because I'm going to go in with my bronzers, my highlighter, and my blush. So I leave the eyes to brush them off until after I've done all that. Just because I don't want a lot of excess powder in the way of the next steps I'm gonna do. Now I have powder all over the shirt. It's fine, I don't really care too much because I'm probably not wearing this shirt today. I'm probably not even going anywhere today, but I still wanted to do a video. So, plus it's fun to be able to do some little bit extra makeup. I'm gonna move this stuff out of my way here. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is my bronzer, and I use a brush that I got from Wish and my In the Balm of Your Hand Cosmetics, the Balm Cosmetics, excuse me. This is the In the Balm of Your Hand palette, the Greatest Hits #2, and this I'm using is the Bahama Mama bronzer, and I just put it right underneath. We're in the sort of sunken parts of my cheeks, and I put it up around my forehead in these areas, and then I bring it down here underneath, and then I blend. Now I've seen people do their bronzers a lot of different ways. I think last time I talked about how sometimes people bring their bronzer up over their cheeks, like that. I don't know. I just try to magnify the shadows on my face. That's what I'm trying to do when I do contour with my bronzer. So also I'm noticing the white buildup in the corners of my eyes. So what happens is that oftentimes when I use the translucent powders, my eyes will get a little watery and that collects. So I just try to clear it up before my eyes get super watery, because oh gosh, then I'm not gonna be able to wear a whole lot of any kind of eye makeup. or it's gonna be a disaster. Now I was taking a small brush and putting just a little line with this matte Tremone shadow and liner. However, I found that if I just take this brush and just do a light dab and go here, it sort of blends easier. So that's what I'm doing. And I like this brown because I feel like it's a darker, less reddish orange shade, whereas the bronzer itself is sort of like an orangey shade of a bronze. But and I just sort of go around the perimeter of my face. There we go. Now the next thing I'm going to do is some blush. I use my Madison Miller and Ofra Squad palette. This is a blush palette and it's got some colored highlights in it, which is a new experience for me. I do really enjoy the blush. I feel like it's a really nice color and it goes on pretty well. So I just put the blush on the tops of my cheeks. And then I take and drop things as per usual. Oh, my hair's starting to curl down. It doesn't know how to be in this sort of style just yet. I'm gonna take this fan brush and go into the lightest of these highlighted shades and just go along the very tippy tops of my cheeks. Okay. And then I'm gonna take this, I'm done with this. Let me close this up as well. I do like the blushes in this palette also, but I try to kind of mix it up. So when I got the Ofra Madison Miller, I switched to that blush. It's not because I don't like the blushes in the Balm of Your Hand palette. It's just because I like to switch it up. So just a side note. I'm gonna take this big brush that I got from Wish and I'm gonna clean off my eyes. This part you kind of gotta be careful with because when I first started doing this, I would try to like brush it away really harshly because I was like, man, it looks so white. But then I would sort of brush too hard and it would hurt my eyeballs. So just be careful. And when I do this, I sort of try to blend in the powders that are around my eyes to transition nicely because they're still really bright, but that's sort of the point. Now, if I take this away, it doesn't look so crazy. It still looks pretty bright, but it's not like, oh my gosh, your eyes are like white. So anywho's, and that changes a little bit when I put the rest of my makeup on as well. So the next thing I'm gonna do is take my shadow brush from Farrah, and I'm gonna take my Au Naturel palette from Wet n Wild, and I'm gonna use this shade number 9. It's a dark brown shade. Let me brush up my eyebrows before I do this. I seriously need to get some new tweezers because these brows need to be cleaned up. But I haven't got the appropriate tweezers. Mine are broken. Alright, we gave ourselves a haircut. Let's give ourselves a brow cut. So from time to time, I like to trim up my brows. Dropping things. It would help if I didn't have my brushes facing where they could roll off the table. Silly. But when I trim my brows, I just brush them up as wild and crazy as I can get them to go. And then I just trim along the edge. And this just sort of makes them look really nice and manicured, in my opinion. Maybe not everyone likes their brows that way. Something you will notice if you do this is that your brows will look slightly sparse. Maybe the first time you do it, you might be like, oh my gosh. But if you use some filler and you just practice it a little bit, you'll get better at knowing how much is too much and when you should stop trimming them. But like if you hold it up here, so sometimes I do this and I'll sacrifice my potential brows for you to see what I'm talking about. So when I do this, it sort of grabs all of the brow hairs. And then when I brush it this way, it looks super sparse. This one isn't nearly as bad, and you might, I don't know, maybe it's just me that can see it, but it looks sort of sparse in here. And that's because all these hairs, I brushed them up and trimmed them up. So if you don't hold it here, because if you hold it, then it forces all of the hairs in the center as well to come up, and it will make your brows look a little bit more sparse. Whereas if you just brush them up and let them do it on their own, then you're less likely to have that sort of, oh no, my brows kind of look bald look. But I don't really mind it, so I will show you what I mean. No problem. Hopefully that all made sense. It might sound a little weird, but whatever. And you might find that you actually like the way your brows look when you do it this way, but when I first did it, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? And then I don't mess too much with the ends because I like the ends to be a bit longer, just because they have less hair in them than the top part. So if they're longer, they sort of look a little bit more full, whereas obviously up here you have way more hair, so it's okay to trim them shorter. Alright, so that's how I trim my brows. Let's go back into the filling in of the brows. So I just try to go along with where my natural brow is, and sort of create a nice, I want to say like box, but sort of like outline where I feel that they are naturally, and just sort of fill in from there. I like to start at the bottom as opposed to the top, because I feel like starting at the bottom looks a little bit more natural if it's fuller down here than if it's fuller up there. The top is sort of like a wispy area. The bottom I feel like should be more like full and clean. This eyebrow is a little bit weird just because it has like these hairs just lay down that way. These hairs like kind of go off this way and up straight. So I don't really fight it. I just sort of go with the way my brow was made. Because the more I try to fight it, the more of a pain it's gonna be, and the less natural and like more awkward it's gonna look. And I see a lot of people nowadays using tools where it has two brows and you sort of, you know, for example, there was this one tool and it was like this girl held this stencil here on her nose and it had a stencil this way and a stencil that way. She filled in her brows. And like, I mean, I get wanting to have like perfect brows. That's sort of the aesthetic you're trying to achieve. But I honestly believe that a lot of our beauty and things that we can appreciate come from the imperfections and the asymmetry of the way that we're made. Like, have you guys ever taken an app where it'll like take your face, half of your face, and mirror the other side so it looks like it's perfectly symmetrical? I've done that and I look weird. I don't know if you guys have ever tried it. Like, having a perfectly symmetrical face, a little strange. But if that's your aesthetic, then hey, go for it. I just would like to encourage you to not be so hard on yourself, you know? Okay, so there goes the brows. Now I'm going to use my Huda Beauty 3D highlighting palette in Golden Sands, which has become my new favorite one. I like the Pink Sands one still, but I'm definitely feeling the vibes of the Golden Sands a little bit more. So I'm gonna take Seychelles, if that's how you say it. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I know I keep saying I should look it up. Maybe I just should. Maybe I'm not saying it wrong. I should stop second guessing myself. Anyways, I do my highlight up here, lightly over here on the temples. And then I like to take my highlight across my jawline at the bottom. I can't actually see it, but it makes me feel like when I'm doing art, at least, I'm gonna put shadows like right under the jawline and a highlight on the jawline to give definition. So that's kind of how I'm approaching it. I don't know if it looks weird, but nobody's ever said anything and it's my face, so I do what I want. So there we go. That is the highlighter all done. I go across my nose, my cupid's bow, my lips just lightly, and then my chin. And next thing I'm gonna do is take the Colourpop Truly Madly Deeply palette and my Morphe M573 brush, if I could find her. There she is. And I'm gonna go into Matter of Fact. And this is the shade that I'm going to use as a base shade for whatever look I'm gonna do today. Lord only knows. And there we go. I like to put it all over the entire lid and underneath the eye, just to give a nice clean canvas for the look I'm gonna do. And I do it in the corners of the eyes, just sort of all around, like I'm filling in glasses almost. Anti-glasses, because this is lightening everything. And I want this shade, whatever I use as my base shade, I want it to be very close to my skin tone. So keep that in mind if you decide to try this technique. Okay, now for the look. What are we gonna do? First of all, I need some more water. Sorry. Dutchie's over there taking a nap. So cute. I'm looking at this wow. I'm dyslexic much? I'm looking at this Colourpop shade Ripple, and I'm just thinking, gosh, that's so pretty. What do I want to do with that? What do I want to do with that? Give me a second to think, because I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me like think tank for 30 minutes. So 1 second. Okay, so I'm thinking that the look I want to do is going to involve some pink, blue, and purple. And then I have these little Wish iridescent things that I can glue somewheres on my eyes. I definitely want to use this Ripple from Colourpop. I'm probably going to use the Truly Madly Deeply palette. Probably going to use my Essence I Got This Rock Look palette. I've got out my Take Me Back to Brazil palette from BH Cosmetics. I have the Aurora Lights palette from BH Cosmetics as well. And we are just going to figure something out as we go. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is lay down a pink shade, a light pink shade, if I can find the correct brush. Okay, this is my Farrah No. 3 mini tapered blending brush. Just make sure there isn't anything on it. I think if there is, it's pink, so no big deal. I think I want to go into Poodle from the Truly Madly Deeply palette from Colourpop and start in this corner. I think I'm going to do pink here and then maybe purple in the middle and out to some blue. Sort of what I'm thinking. Lord only knows what I'm really going to do. I like to just play around and, you know, figure it out, like add stuff until it looks good. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I might fast forward a lot of this just because it's gonna be a lot of just building and guessing until I find something I like. And I don't know if you guys will think that that's boring or not. So I will try to point out the shades that I'm using, so I'll start here. Poodle.
was walking down the street, and you were there staring at me, standing there as if we should meet. And I knew with you it'd be easy. I've touched your soul, and then I knew you'd run away with me. I'm in your thoughts, and all you want is to lay down with me. I will be the one, I will be the one, I will be the one. I will be the one, I will be the one, I will be the one for you. Walking down the street, and you were there staring at me, standing there as if we should meet. And I knew with you it'd be easy. I've touched your soul, and then I knew you'd run away with me. I'm in your thoughts, and all you want is to lay down with me. I will be the one, I will be the one, I will be the one. I will be the one, I will be the one, I will be the one for you.
All right, so I've decided I want to put some little wish rhinestones instead of those star iridescent things I was going to, and I'm going to put them directly in the center of these stars that I've drawn. So I just use some white lash glue to put a little dab in the center, and then I just pick them up with my finger, and it's hard to see the mirrors back there, so I'm just gonna use this little one, and I just dab it on wherever the glue is, and that's how I do that. So I'm gonna do the other side too. I was thinking about using these little stars, but I don't think I need to. I'm loving all the glitter though. Oh my goodness. That, I forget what it's called. I think it's Ghost something. Oh, look, just a second. Hungry Ghost from the Colourpop palette is probably my favorite thing to use at the moment. And that is that like iridescent glitter that I put on over top of the shadows that I did. Try to be careful about moving them too much because you can actually displace whatever is underneath them. So I think that's it for the shadows. Now I'm gonna do my lashes. Let me just pick up this mess of rhinestones that I have on my table. All right, so I'm gonna use my Bad Gal Bang mascara from Benefit. Kofanyang Moonlight, and this is the Around the World Light Infusion Powder from Nomad. It is so pretty, and it's like this purple blue iridescent highlight, and I wanted to get it out because I feel like it is perfect for this look. So I'm just gonna add it on top of the highlight that I already have, just using a brush, a fair brush. This is my 65E large shading brush. I don't want a huge brush because this is a tiny little thing. If I had a big pan of it, which I totally need to buy some, I was saying I was going to, and then I kept putting it off. So my next purchase that I make for my weight loss, I will have to add a pan of this, and I get it from Ipsy. I could check the Nomad site and see how much it is there. It is pretty expensive, but it's totally worth it. I absolutely love the way that this looks. So I was thinking about using the Flirty lashes, however, I feel like the Flirty lashes are super big and thick and full, which is great for some looks, but with a look that has this much detail and stuff that I want to highlight, I think I'll go with the 01 lashes because they are a bit more, you can see through them a little bit more than the other lashes, which are a bit thicker. Okay, so that is the look with my lashes on. Now I'm gonna use my LA Girl Gloss Holographic Topper Lip Gloss. And I think I wanna try something. I'm gonna take this Colourpop Rippling, or sorry, Ripple. Rippling is a HR service that I'm looking into at work. There we go, cute. Okay, a little bit more gloss. Wipe this stuff off my hands. There we go, guys. That is it for today's look of the day. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I know it's probably going to be a bit longer than most videos. I'll try to keep it down in my editing, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me go crazy on my hair and chop it all off. I mean, I actually really like it, so I'm excited. I can't wait till this all kind of grows out so I can shape it a little bit more and get it like trimmed up and looking good. But I think that what I did worked out great, and I actually really like it short. I didn't think I would. So yeah. Last thing I'm gonna do is use my Anastasia Beverly Hills Shimmer Body Oil because I like to sparkle even if I'm not going anywhere. And who knows, maybe we will go somewhere. Usually my husband comes home and he's like, oh my gosh, your makeup looks so good, we gotta go somewhere. So who knows. Anyways, I hope that you guys have had a fantastic day, and I hope that you always remember, no matter who you are or where you are loved and you are enough.